There you go.
Thank you.
Oh man, but it's gonna have all of this on the
That's
recording.
okay.
Okay, whatever.
People can fast forward.
This is true.
All right, here is a ballot for you all up here. Now I'm gonna be in the video.
Good luck to the debaters.
All right, just for the times, so you have the times up there.
And I have some time.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
We can have timers up here, right?
Yep, you can.
Okay, because I stole a timer from the mock trial too.
Good.
Actually, I didn't because it's mine, because I have to pay for it. Yeah.
All right. And Tresor, this is your floor plan class. So everyone has ballots and is ready to go? All right. And Tresor, I think you can lead us off. Be sure to be loud because the video camera, you know.
And then how much prep time do we have?
4 minutes.
4 minutes already.
Yeah. Do you normally wear glasses?
Yeah, but I'm wearing contacts. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's
I was
what
just
I was
like, I knew it was something like weird. No,
Oh.
not weird bad, just different. Okay.
Okay. And then anytime I'm ready to start.
Kaylin's time. So.
Thank you everybody for coming and taking time out of your busy schedule to hear this info. What should be an interesting debate. The resolution today is the U.S. federal government should increase restrictions on the development, use, and or sale of genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms have raised many concerns in today's society, as there are few regulations and information that are available. Oregon, the first state to rise up and confront this challenge, led the initiative for the United States to take their concerns to the ballot and lead the labeling initiative, followed by California and Washington. Although currently they face obstacles, they are raising awareness for this significant issue. As of right now, although there are a lot of research in regards to GMOs, there are no proper environmental analysis as of right now. Therefore, the United States federal government should increase the restriction on the development and production of genetically modified organisms. Currently, the USDA is placing GMO varieties in non-regulated statuses without proper environmental analysis, which is accelerating mutations, promoting biased inspections, and damaging the environment. Genetically modified organisms use the chemical Bacillus thuringiensis, or the simplified term BT, in order to make crops pest resistant. These create two major problems: the destruction of the ecosystem and a mutation problem. We believe the precautionary principle is not being applied to the degree that is needed. An article by the Journal of Risk Research in 2006, titled "Environmental Risk and the Precautionary Principle," states that principle late lessons from early warnings applied to genetically modified organisms. This is from the Journal of Risk Research. It talks about how the Earth is a diverse biological habitat. Its ecosystems are complex, and not every risk associated with the release of new genetically modified organisms are taken into account in risk assessments. Some risks are consequences of rare events or may take many years to emerge. The larger the GMO production, the more amplified the conditions. We must apply the precautionary principle where uncertainty and ignorance are factors. This exposes early warnings, ensures the real world conditions are accounted for, takes full account of assumptions, and evaluates alternatives to maximize innovative benefit and minimize the cost of surprises. Another article from the University of Arizona News in 2014 by Tabashink proves that shows that studies find that GMO accelerates mutations by inserting Bt toxin into the genome. An international research team researched the diverse genetic changes in insect-killing cotton plants and cotton bollworm in China and reported in the Journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Cotton and corn have been genetically engineered to produce toxins derived from bacterium Bacillus, from the bacterium Bt in order to decrease insects. Bt toxins kill certain insect pecks, but are harmless to other organisms, including human beings. Organic growers have used Bt toxins in sprays since 1996. Over time, these sprays have caused rare genetic mutations that make them resistant to Bt toxins. The same international research team has discovered that because the Bt toxins are genetically inserted into the genome of plants, it has accelerated and caused numerous genetic mutations. The research team conducted the study by using bollworm caterpillars, a major pest in China. Another article by the Raper Institute of Technology in 2013 shows the GMO's great impact on the environment. When genetically modified organisms are allowed to breed with organisms that are not genetically engineered, this will result in organisms polluting the genetics of non-genetically engineered organisms. This problem will grow and further escalate the whole ecological system to be affected. Furthermore, there are chances that these organisms might develop resistance against pesticides or herbicides. Environmentalist Jeremy Rifkin of the Author Biotech states that genetic pollution might occur due to the unintentional process of modernly genetically modified organisms dispersing their genes into the natural environment by breeding with wild plants or animals. The use of genetic pollution by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations is currently defined as uncontrolled spread of genetic information into the genomes of organisms in which genes are not present in nature. An example is the Bt corn that produces a wild-born pollen, which is able to spread 1 kilometer from farms that kills the caterpillars of the monarch butterfly. The USDA's main priority is helping the agricultural industry while the biotech developers are getting their products released commercially. As of right now, since they gained the non-regulated status, there will be no one to check on them for the files they have made. Our plan is to pass legislation that will transfer the authority to evaluate GMOs as passive agricultural industry. Our plan will solve the current issue of the lack of regulation by putting the EPA in charge of GMO environmental risk analysis in all the capacities of final products. By replacing USDA regulation with the EPA authority, the lack of regulation will be resolved.
Okay, you have to stop.
Yeah.
That's time. Yeah. Okay.
I turned it, and I'll be louder.
Okay. Process?
So you stated that one of the problems with GMOs is that they use BT. And so organic farmers are allowed to use those as well? Is that what you
Allowed
said?
to use BT corn?
Yes.
No, organic farmers don't use, because BT corn is a genetic, it's like a genetic protein that's inserted into corn, and so that would go against organic farmers because they want to use, they don't believe in genetically modifying their products, therefore they wouldn't use, and there wouldn't be any traces found in corn raised by organic farmers.
Okay, you mentioned towards the beginning the possibility of biased inspections. How would the inspections be biased?
Because
Oh, sorry.
it would be biased because companies, biotech companies make a lot of money growing. Biotech companies make a lot of money growing GMO products, and there's bias because the USDA doesn't fully follow the guidelines of the guidelines of growing genetically, of releasing genetically modified organisms in order, because they don't follow the procedures in order to gain like financial incentives. And there's been 3 lawsuits filed against the USDA that they don't fully follow their procedures as enacted in part of the Natural Environment Policy Act. And so this is why we want to transfer authority from the USDA to the EPA.
How would that change of power be effective?
Do you want me to answer?
No.
Okay.
Got time?
Yes, please.
Do you want
Yeah, you keep track of it. I'm
to
just doing it for my own. But I forget.
Can I say every 30 seconds or anything?
Every 30 seconds. Yeah.
Seconds used. Used. A minute 30 used. Okay. Oh, sorry. Alright. I'd like to start with the environmental impacts first of all, GMOs are actually less harmful to the environment than ordinary crops. As according to Globalization 101 in 2009, highly beneficial increased yield and hardiness. Advocates of genetically modified foods also argue that contrary to popular belief, GM foods cause less environmental damage than their unmodified counterparts. This is because food can be engineered to be pest resistant, decreasing the amounts of toxic chemicals and pesticides that need to be applied to the crops. In addition, GM advocates say that the components of genetically modified plants that drive the insects away are not harmful to human consumers. So these genetically modified foods do not harm the consumers of the foods, and they harm the insects and other parts of the environment less because we are not having to spray them with as many herbicides and pesticides. As I said, GMOs reduce the need for chemicals. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States in 2003, genetically engineered resistance to pests and diseases could greatly reduce the chemicals needed for crop production, and it's already happening. Farmers are growing corn, cotton, and potatoes that no longer have to be sprayed with bacterial insecticide because they produce an insecticidal agent themselves. Scientists are developing trees that have a lower content of lignin, a structuring constituent of woody plant cells. This could reduce the need for noxious chemicals in pulp and paper production. These developments could not only reduce the environmental impact, they could also improve the health of the farm and industrial workers. So by the lack of knowledge, the lack of research based on the about the GMOs is a result of the fact that we haven't had these crops long enough to be able to fully study the impacts. Studies on the environmental impact of technology take decades to do properly, and GMOs have not been prevalent long enough to qualify their environmental impact. According to the International Service for the Acquisition of Biotech Services in 2014, the environmental safety of products of agriculture biotechnology, just as with those created by classical breeding and mutation and grown conventionally or organically, must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis to perform meaningful risk assessments. And by regulating the GMOs that are currently being used today, we would cause more harm to consumers because GMOs are currently widely used in the U.S. According to WebMD in 2003, experts say that 60 to 70% of processed foods in the U.S. grocery shelves have genetically modified ingredients. The most common genetically modified foods are soybeans, corn, cotton, and grapeseed oil. That means that many of the foods made in the U.S. containing field corn or high fructose corn syrup, such as many breakfast cereals, snack foods, the last soda you drink. Foods may be made with soybeans, including some baby foods, and foods made with cottonseed and canola oils could likely have genetically modified ingredients. These ingredients appear frequently in animal feed as well. So if these were to be more closely regulated, it would mean that we would have to get rid of a lot of the products that are already on our shelves, and it would increase the prices until they could find more reasonably priced alternatives. Most Americans eat GMOs every day. According to the Journal of Integrative Plant Biology in 2014, Americans have been consuming GMOs for 17 years with no ill effects as far as we know. There are 4 GM food crops that are widely grown and may be consumed as food: soybeans, corn, canola, and sugar beets. Cornstarch, soybean protein, and the oil from canola, corn, and soybeans are all widely used in packaged foods and soft drinks. This includes soft drinks and many bakery desserts. Soy protein is used extensively to make sauces. Such sauces are present in many frozen prepared foods. Oils from canola, corn, and soybeans are, of course, sold for frying and are used to make margarine or consumed as salad dressing. So again, about 70% of of the products that we currently consume would be taken off the shelves if they were not allowed because of GMO regulation.
Didn't you get 7 minutes?
Yes, you did 7 minutes. Okay. Instead of regulating GMOs, we should take advantage of the health benefits. The GMO foods are as safe or safer than conventional foods. According to John Entine in 2013, every major international science body in the world has reviewed multiple independent studies, in some cases numbering in the hundreds, in coming to the consensus conclusion that GMO crops are as safe or safer than conventional or organic foods. But until now, the magnitude of the research on crop biotechnology has never been cataloged. In response to what they believed was an information gap, a team of Italian scientists summarized 1,783 studies about the safety and environmental impacts of GMO foods. And researchers found no proof that there was any harm caused by the GMOs. According to Entine, the researchers could not find a single credible example demonstrating GM foods pose any harm to humans or animals. Scientific research conducted so far has not detected any significant hazards directly connected with the use of genetically engineered crops.
That's time. Process?